Welcome back to episode 2 of STG, you beautiful people. What I am thinking for this episode, we just got to get the hydroponics up. That's pretty much all we're going to be able to do. We did go back to the traders because we want to see if we could get some more food. Chocolate's not really going to be worth getting, but one extra emergency survival meal might work. Last episode was episode 1, hence why this is episode 2. Funny that. But we managed to get some power generation up. We've also got a battery, which is going to be super useful, and we are looking into getting the hydroponics. But beyond that, we're now also researching the transparent roofs. If we can get the transparent roof sorted, what we're going to be able to do is be able to grow all of the crops without the need of a sun lamp. So that's going to save us a whole bunch of power, which means we're not going to need extra batteries. So for us, that should be pretty good. Then the other side is this is Ironman, so any mistakes, I'm not going to be able to save, scum and sort out. And then it is also combat extended. Now, combat extended makes things a little bit more brutal, and things can go wrong, and when they go wrong, they go really wrong. So, an easy example is we have a battery. When you're playing vanilla, if the battery gets charged for too long and then decides to explode, it's a little bit annoying, you lose all of the power. If a battery explodes in combat extended, and anyone is near it, so when it discharges, they're pretty much dead, and we only have one colonist. So, if he gets taken out, it is game over for us. But so far we've had a pretty good start. Just had a transport pod come in, which might be quite useful. So it is a Batarian who isn't someone that we can really use, and then also his stats are pretty garbage. However, he does have an alpaca wool parka and a small backpack, which would be quite useful for us. Silver and some simple meals. So we're going to get Paddock to go over and we are going to strip him, and also has a repeating rifle, which is 4440 Winchester, even though I know I've said that wrong, but details. Not a bad gun, has to be said. The AP on this is 8mm, range cooldown of 0.36, which is decent enough, and has a quick magazine reload. There's only going to be shooting one at a time with not the greatest of stats, but this could keep us tied over for a little bit, so we're going to keep an eye on that. We also had an earthquake come in, so let's have a... Okay, nowhere near us, which is fine. Paddock, how are we looking? No issues so far. So we'll get him to just go over, strip down the Batarian, take all of the kit, bring it back to the base. We'll actually put this onto haul urgently as well. Okay, we can't actually click it. Cool. We're not getting the Winchester. I'm sure we'll survive. First thing we are going to do is make Paddock force wear the alpaca parka. That is a decent bit of kit. So if we go in and we just check over the stats quick. Okay, cold 56. Yeah, that's pretty insane. No protection at all, but that is not a massive issue. So long as we don't freeze to death, we're pretty good. Also had a package survival meal, which we quite like. Simple cloth pants, not going to make a big difference to us, but having a little bit more kit is never a bad thing. And what we will do is we'll force you to put that backpack on. With the backpack, we're going to be able to store stuff. We're not going to move as quick, but that's not a big issue. And pick up all of the silver whilst we have the chance. Take that survival meal. Okay. Pick up. Awesome. And then, yeah, we'll take the cloth pants. Awesome. But what we are working on is mining this section here. We want this mined out so we can get the hydroponics going sooner than later. And cool, they gift from security force. Okay, no, it's only 15 arrows. I was hoping for something a little bit extra. With that alpaca wool parka that we just got, minimum comfortable temperature is -62, which is awesome. As I think the maximum temperature that this can go down to on the tile that we're on is like -40. So we're pretty much always going to be okay for the time being. So we can now work outside with very little worries, which is actually amazing for us. Somehow that Batarian is still alive in the top corner. If we had a cannibal trait, we would have butchered him down, but we don't. And now the plan here is if we close the door, it gets too hot. And when we leave the door open, it can get too cold. So if we create a secondary room here, and then we put another door in, close this door but leave this one open, the temperature hopefully will equalise enough that we can still carry on using it with the doors closed so we can grow the rice. Will that happen? I'm not too sure. And as for the food, we're down to 13 packaged survival meals, and then we've also got, well, it was meant to be 5, but now it's 4 emergency survival meals. So pause is taking up a bit of the food, but you know what, not a massive issue. But because we need to be careful about what food goes where, we're going to put pause into the butcher room. Not that we're going to butcher him, we're going to try and keep pause as long as we can. But he has food in here, so that will stop him eating our packaged survival meals and emergency rations. Because the Solarian's not going to want to eat that raw meat. So hopefully this keeps pause in good health for a little while, because if he eats a packaged survival meal, it's gone. It doesn't go like little by little. So this will last him for quite a while. So that would be the same as 8 survival meals for him. And obviously 8 survival meals for us means more than 8 for the doggo, because the doggo can get the same off like 80 meat. So that's what we're going to aim for. Try to keep him alive on food on the map. And we have just got some awesome luck. So we got slavers from the Batarian Expanse. They are coming in. So maybe we should have taken that Batarian prisoner. Maybe. That could have worked out pretty well. And then we also have a bulk good trader coming from the Quarians. And I did not notice that crypto casket. Not a bad bit of kit to find. So, hopefully we can get some food to tie us over until all the hydroponics are done. We don't really have anything to sell, and it looks like they're trying to leave. So, we take Paddock, run down to the Batarians, and because they're slavers, maybe, just maybe, they have a Solarian for us. It is not looking like it. No, it doesn't look like any Solarians. It mainly looks like they've got Taurians. But unfortunately they're leaving and they're a long way away, so Paddock is not going to be able to get to them in time. So maybe if we intercept the Quarians, we're going to have a bit of better luck. Hopefully buying something. And their trader is super slow. As for what the Quarians have, not a massive amount. They do have a couple packaged survival meals, well 150, so that's a decent amount. We will pick up, we'll go for 15, because there's going to be, if we don't need them, that's not an issue, but if we need them and we don't have them, that's a little bit more of a problem. And accept that. Now what we're also going to do is we're going to expand the home zone over here. Go back and trade. And by all of that being in the home zone, we can sell it off. Which will be pretty good. So we can sell the repeating Winchester for just shy of 4. Synthread t-shirt will go for 37. And the cloth jacket will go for 47. That gets us another 88. Not the best trades we could have made, but not a bad amount for what we're doing at the moment. And let's get these packaged 5 meals hauled in urgently before they spoil. Oh, and before we can even do that, we have a raid coming in. And do you have any decent gear? Oh, he's got an alpaca wool jacket. Nothing there. What are your stats like? Fast walker, inefficient, sanguine, resilient, frail. Wouldn't be bad to pick up. But this is a Solarian playthrough, so we're going to stick with just going with Solarians for the moment. And also, if we can find a good like Solarian female with high speech, we are going to call them Delatras, as viewer recommended. And yeah, that didn't last long. That guy literally just ran in and died on our gun, which I am fine with. Let's strip him off, put this into the home zone, and let's go do a little bit more trading. Let's see what we can get. Not a massive amount, but that is not bad by any means. So that gives us 220 there, so I think we put that back into package 5 mil, so that's another 5. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that's going. We have a Shaman Merchant from the Union coming in, and we also have the Taurian Militants, who are going to be these guys. Right, so we just have all of the traders. If we got lucky, one of them wouldn't have liked the other one, and then there would have been a massive shootout. I would have enjoyed that. That would have given us a whole bunch of resources, but unfortunately, it's not looking like that has happened. It's not looking like the Taurians have anything that we want, so we're going to let them go and just see if the Shamans have anything, which I strongly doubt because they've got tribal tech, but sometimes they can have good kit on them. As for the Shaman Merchants, they do have some interesting kit. So they've got a UAC grenade launcher, which has a magazine of 20, range cooldown of 0.39, which is actually insane. That thing would just launch grenades everywhere, and they also have a rocket launcher, which wouldn't be bad. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to afford any of that, and they also have a Polaris Restorer, which is something that we would quite like, but yet again, we cannot afford it. So not going to get anything from these trades. However, the next lot of traders we might be able to get something from. So it's the UAC, so United Aerospace Corporation, so the guys from Doom. Let's have a little look, because some of their stuff they sometimes have deals on, and we might be able to get something pretty decent. So fine meals for 21, chem fuel for 2.44, nice price on steel, decent price on their packaged survival meals. And yeah, look at some of these weapons going pretty cheap. This shotgun could be amazing for us. But what we want to keep an eye out is a decent skin suit that we can afford. Or some armour. So we could get a security helmet, excellent quality for 1,333. It's going to offer very good protection, plus weapon handling, global learning factor, -10 toxic sensitivity, mental break threshold, and smoke sensitivity. All awesome things. And it's excellent quality, which is awesome. Now, we would like a skin suit, but I think for this part of the game they might be a little bit broken, as they add 100% to your global work speed and 1 to your moving. If it was 50% and 0.5 and a lot more expensive, then I'd be game for it. But right now I think this actually might make it a little bit too easy. But we do want that shotgun, so we are picking that up, and then see if we can afford the helmet. And we can. For the shotgun, it has a range of 20, which is pretty respectable. Range cooldown of 0.38, which is also awesome. Warm up of 0.6. Caliber is 12 gauge, but it also has a 20 round magazine. 5-second reload time on it, but it is a decent little bit of kit. So we're going to pick that up, like I said. We've got the helmet. And next time, when you're a little bit further along, I think a skin suit would be nice for us to have. We need to get those hauled in, otherwise they are just going to fall apart outside. And that being said, do we even have storage for them? No. So we'll allow apparel in here, but no tainted. And we'll also allow weapons. And now we have a storage for it. With this final door being finished now, hopefully it can stay warm enough inside here that we won't lose our harvests. Then all we need to do is just focus down the transparent roofing, and we should be in an awesome little situation. Gonna need to roof it off, and then let's keep an eye on the temperature. So this is always going to get hotter than in here, but having the door open, it is going to slightly equalize the pressure. Then if it carries on getting too hot, we just build another section on, and we just keep expanding until it's at a point where we can get a nice constant temperature. So 22 to 4. Also, with the corpses that have been killed off on the map, we're going to put them in the same room that Paws is in, so Paws can basically just eat the corpses. That is going to keep him quite happy and fed. Means he's not eating our food, as we are now down to 19 packaged survival meals. Looks like all of the emergency rations have been eaten, so we definitely made the right choice when we're picking up all the extra foods. Before we can finish the research, we do have a raid coming in from the peasants, which is cool. We've still got our rifle. We don't really want to be using it right now because we are going to start running low on ammunition. But seeing as we cannot build the shotgun rounds at the moment, well, the shotgun shells, we don't have much of a choice. So we'll just go out, shoot down the peasant, and then we're going to be good. Paddock's already been able to get the shots off. The guy has been suppressed, so he has to hide in cover. Paddock will move up, try to get a better shot on him. And unfortunately, we killed him straight out. So we are not going to be able to strip him of his kit and sell it off. Let's get back to the research. Going to be very high risk, but this could feed us for a long time. We have 4 polar bears who are on a migration at the moment. And what I'm thinking is we take Paddock. He comes down to the bottom because we know they're going to have to come out of this area. And then we intercept them and try to shoot them all down before they can run us down and kill us. Our shooting at the moment is 13.19, which isn't great, but we just gotta hope that that's enough. We do have a good gun, so we should just be able to shred them. First polar bear is down. We got a lucky long shot. One is fleeing, the other two are still coming down. Thankfully we're far enough away that they're not manhunting at the moment. Okay, they are revenging, so they'll start coming this way. That's 2 down, and we just got to hope that we can keep taking them down before they're getting close. A polar bear in close combat against us at the moment would probably kill us in like 1 or 2 hits. Okay, why aren't you firing? You're reloading. Get the shot off. And with that, it looks like dinner for a little while is secured. Research now being finished on the transparent roofs. We can now roof this area here off. I'm not sure why that door's open. It shouldn't be, but it is. And let's prioritise working on these roofs. With the roofs turned to the transparent roofs, the sun's going to be able to get through. We're going to be able to grow the rice indoors without the use of a sun lamp, which for us is going to work really well. Okay, Paddock, I need this shut, so if you don't mind. Cool. And sometimes it gets a little bit too hot in there, but not very often. So we seem to be sitting around 30-ish degrees. It's not consistent, but it is okay. We do have a retail trader coming from the security force, and let's have a little see if they've got anything for us. Unfortunately, it's not looking like they have anything that we really want. It has been pointed out that we could take these sterile walls and one of these stoves and create our own kitchen with it, which is a brilliant idea because Paddock's cooking is terrible. 2.47, which means that he's got a very high risk of getting food poisoning. And as for where we could move it, we could put the kitchen here and then put the sterile walls in, which would work really well, and then we take these steel walls and then we can drop them along there. Other bit is we could actually just extend across here, have the sterile walls this bit, and then finish off walling this bit, which would help keep the heat in, and then we can open more doors if it gets too hot, and it's not going to get too cold because of the equalization between the room temperatures. So I think the new kitchen is going to go over here. As a lot of this is actually going to be super useful for us, so we're not going to have to build it, what I think we do is we just uninstall everything that we can. Okay, and we just put down a little dumping stockpile over here for buildings. So we go to here, put that down, clear all, so nothing's allowed in, then we just scroll down and we tick buildings. So all of this is going to get uninstalled and then move down to here, and then it's going to be easier to start building the rest of the base. With an eclipse going off, a polar bear has decided to go and hunt Paddock, which, as we've seen, Paddock here is pretty decent at taking down polar bears, so that is now taken out, which is fine. We're going to use this area here as the kitchen. So we've already started to install the sterile walls, then we should be able to come across here, put an extra door in. And if all goes to plan, it's going to act a bit more like an airlock. And with how the temperature's going, I think we're probably going to have to put in a cooler, because as soon as they come through these doors, all of their air, well, all of the hot air keeps coming out. So, temperature, and then we're going to put a heater in. We will need to move the batteries somewhere else, so if they do overload or explode for whatever reason, they're not going to kill Paddock off, because that would be the end of playthrough pretty quickly. For the steel auto doors, we will deconstruct them. This is going to give us a whole bunch of steel and a couple components if we're lucky. As soon as there is 2 electric stoves, we'll deconstruct one of them as well. So as we need to work our way up the research tree, I think the next research is going to be a big one, but it's going to be microelectronics. We start getting that, we're going to be able to get a whole bunch more stuff. Unfortunately now, Paws has got the plague, so we put down a little sleeping spot for him, and ideally is 4.123%. With our Glitterworld medicine, and Paddock has not great medical, it's 6.52. But with Glitterworld medicine, hopefully we can keep Paws healthy so that he doesn't die off. First raised harvest is in, which is good, so proof of concept, we know that it works and it can be done. So we're just going to need to find a way to start scaling this up. And then we have a transport pod from someone from the Polar Bear clan, who looks like they are a Drell, with some okay kit and a decent enough marksman rifle. So because we are kind and caring, okay, the polar bear clan will be annoyed if we strip them. So we're going to do the next best thing and leave them to bleed out. But what we will do is we will take their sniper rifle. We are down to 6 packaged survival meals, and with Paddock having such a terrible cooking skill, we're going to give him the best chance that he can. Sterile walls are going to help a little bit, and then we're also going to try to tile in here with steel tiles. Temperature in here doesn't go above freezing, so we can now store the rice and the meats in here. The human corpses will be left with paws, so he has some food, and let's have a little check on him. So he's 88 to 81, which means that he's doing pretty alright. We will need to start looking into breaking down some stone chunks so that we can have a little bit of a kill zone for once something dangerous shows up. A transport pod has just come in and dropped an independent Asari refugee. Now if we look at their bio, they are not half bad. Good with animals, artistic, medical, social, intellectual. Unfortunately is fragile and ugly, which doesn't help. And then I think all Asari do start with the bisexual trait. But yet again, we can't really do too much of it because they're not a Solarian, so we're going to go off, strip them of their kit, because they did have a cloth quilted vest and a mega sloth button down shirt, which could be quite useful for us. And we also want the flak pants. Oh, and they've also dropped a bunch of food for us. So, haul urgently, and then we'll let Paddock choose what he wants to wear from that. With a bulk good trader coming in who looks like they are trying to sell a whole bunch of bears. Maybe they have something interesting for us. With all the polar bears we've been hunting and fighting, we got 186 bear skin from them. We also took out a fox earlier, and a bird fell from the sky, so we took that as well, which is going to give us 390 silver. Not a massive amount, but for the moment that is quite good. We'll sell the great arrows, which surprisingly sell for a decent amount. They can have our steel club, and they can also have the limestone plant pot. For what we can buy from them, we'll get an extra couple components, but nothing else really. Second rice harvest is coming in as well, so that's going quite nicely. And I think with that, we start practicing to build some meals. And we're not going to need a massive amount, so I think we do until 10, and then we pause at 4. We can't set allow cooking skill, because otherwise Paddock's not going to be able to do it. So we need to expect a little bit of food poisoning, but hopefully if we can get a few meals up before that, then even if he does have food poisoning, he's still going to be able to eat. Paws is still fine, he's got plenty of corpses to chomp on, and for some reason doesn't seem to eat particularly much, which should be fine. We'll let him finish this meal, but then we need to take that off because we do not want meat going in there or animal products, because those either we're going to be able to sell or turn into fine meals. So we'll let him finish these ones off as well because I caught a little bit too late. But it does mean now that once we start cooking meals and he's at a high enough level, we are going to be able to start getting fine meals out, which I think is going to do Paddock a lot of good for his mood. And with the second rice harvest completed, the kitchen set up, Paul was happy with all of the bodies, and a man-hunting pack of 9 snow hares, I think that's a good place to wrap up the episode. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Konzi, and I look forward to catching you on the next one.